Hi guys, welcome to the next lesson on human evolution. In this lesson, we're going to be looking at the shared characteristics between primates, hominoids, and hominins. Hominins, they're defined as members of the genus Homo, and that includes humans, and they are all their extinct and erect walking ancestors. That's a hominin. So all of these upright walking organisms are known as hominins. We can see humans comprise the hominin genus, as does all of their upwalking or upright previous ancestors, whereas Hominae includes a broader category such as chimps and gorillae. So when you see hominins, as here, it refers to specifically humans and the upright walking ancestors, whereas hominin A is the larger group. So they are able to walk on 2 feet, so they are known as bipedal, whereas apes and such, they walk with their knuckles on the ground, so they can't walk unsupported, so therefore they are not bipedal. Characteristics that define or show that humans and primates are, well, the characteristics that they share between them. So we all have 5 digits. We have an opposable thumb. So you can see between a human hand, chimpanzee, and a siamang here, or siamang, that particular type of primate all have an opposable thumb, which is used for climbing and enables a power grip and also precision grip as well. We have a forward-facing vision, so we can able to predate on or eat other animals, and also visualize any incoming animals that may attack us. We have arms that can rotate in like a ball and socket motion and have those to swing through trees. We have large brains relative to our body size. Other features of hominins, so specifically humans and their upright erect walking ancestors, include that we are bipedal. The reason that we can walk on 2 legs as a Homo sapien in this image here is because the angle, as you can see here, the angle in which the femur is relative to the pelvis. So you can see in a chimpanzee, the pelvis is over here, the femur is almost straight down, 180 degrees, in line with the pelvis. Whereas humans have an angled pelvis, a narrow pelvis, and also angled. That enables the body weight to now be directly underneath the pelvis, which enables you to be upright. Other features of bipedalism is known as the foramen magnum, which we'll cover in a bit. Features of hominins include also a large brain size, with humans having about 1,300 cubic centimeters of brain size or brain volume. We have shortened and flattened faces in comparison to other earlier hominins and also to the apes, such as chimpanzees. If you look at a chimpanzee's face compared to a hominin face or human face, it's much flatter, the human face. Our jaws are much smaller. They're not as thick, and the teeth are also smaller in a human compared to a chimp because our diets have changed. As well as we have longer legs, so you can see the length of the femur in a human, Homo sapien, is much longer than a chimpanzee, whereas a chimpanzee has longer arms respective to their body size compared to humans, given that we have changed habitat. Chimpanzees predominantly dwell in arboreal or tree-living environments, where humans do not live in tree-living environments. So we do not require as long arms, but we require longer legs because we walk upright, whereas chimpanzees don't walk upright all of the time. So as I already mentioned, we have narrower hips, and therefore we can have a further or greater angle in which the femur can be angled away from the pelvis, which enables the body weight to be distributed. So if you look at the human body weight here, the weight of the upper body or the torso is directly underneath the pelvis due to the angle that the femur is, whereas the body weight over here on the chimpanzee cannot be distributed as easily, therefore they have a fore or knuckle walking style, whereas humans can walk upright, and A. afarensis, well, Australopithecus is an earlier human, so it's a hominin, it's an earlier human form, and they can also walk upright because they had angled femurs. Other features of hominins include our large brain size. As I mentioned, we have humans have around 1,370 cubic centimeters of brain size. This over here is a Neanderthals, and then these are earlier species of hominins. You can see also the jaw is much larger in these compared to humans. So with a larger brain, much larger volume, we can have more neurons, therefore we can solve more complex problems and have sophisticated speech and other things. As I already mentioned, we have the largest brain size, or one of the largest brain sizes of all of the hominins or Homo genus, the foramen magnum. So the foramen magnum is the hole or the particular region at the base of the skull in which the spinal cord or the spine attached to the skull. So the foramen magnum of a human is located more anterior or more towards the front of the skull. So with an anterior facing foramen magnum, that means the spine can now be directly down from the skull, as opposed to, say, a gorilla where the foramen magnum is here, the skull, or the foramen magnum, sorry, the foramen magnum is on an angle relative to the skull, so therefore the spine must move in this direction, whereas humans, the foramen magnum, as I mentioned, is here, so the spine can move directly downward. That also enables us to be upright and up walking, because the spine can directly anchor into the pelvis. So as you can see here, here's the foramen magnum. It's the hole at the base of the skull. In a human skull, it's anterior or more centrally located, whereas a chimpanzee, it's much more posterior or further towards the back of the skull. And in a wolf, it's well and truly. So a four-legged organism, it's well and truly at the back, whereas a two-legged upright walking organism, it's in the middle, and then a chimpanzee, which can sometimes walk on two legs, but not for sustained periods of time, it's again towards the back. So as you can see here, gibbons and other species of apes, they have foramen magnum, which is towards the posterior or the rear part of the skull, which means they have a further angled spine, so therefore they walk on all fours. Whereas humans have an S-shaped spine, foramen magnum towards the anterior portion of the skull, meaning they can walk upright because their spine can support them directly upwards. So key features of hominin skulls that are to look out for. We have prominent brow ridges, meaning in these earlier humans or earlier hominins, they have large brow ridges, whereas humans have much smaller ones. You can also see the eye sockets are larger, less rounded in hominins, early hominins such as Homo erectus, and in humans they're more rounded. We have smaller jawbone, so the proportion or the length of the jawbone is as a diameter is smaller in Homo sapiens compared to earlier hominins because our diet's changed. Our skull is more rounded, meaning we have a larger brain volume, and these brow ridges, as already mentioned, are smaller in humans compared to earlier hominins, which is all defined or listed in this table here. So we can see that we have significant changes in the hominin genus or hominin species over time. So we have shorter arms and longer legs compared to chimpanzees, or even compared to earlier hominins. We have a narrower pelvis, our foramen magnum position is more anterior, we have smaller teeth and jaws because our diet has changed, and we have a larger brain volume, which is as a result of a smaller jaw. The brain volume could now be taken up into this jaw. So this is the early species of hominin here, known as Australopithecine afarensis, and this is later, or this is the current genus of hominins. So you can see the skull volume is increasing, and particularly the brain volume is increasing, the jaw size is decreasing, the brow ridges are getting less and less prominent, and as well as cheekbones. These are the key ideas, having the features of primates, what they are, the differences between hominins, hominids, and hominoids, and the relationship between bipedalism and the structural features of a hominin. You should now be able to identify and distinguish primates and humans, and identify and distinguish hominins from primates. Thanks for watching.